Okay. So in our last class, we
Yes.
touched this HTML5 semantic elements, but we didn't really dive into it.
Yes.
So today we'll be looking into it. So
Okay.
we said HTML5, they are the one that introduced this semantic elements. Do you still remember the semantic elements we mentioned?
Yes.
Okay, so we have the header, the nav, and the rest of
Yes.
it, article, fine, and a whole lot of them. So it is this HTML5 that introduced all these elements. And all these elements, they are the ones that make the coding to be more explanatory, so that even the server, because the server even recognize this HTML5 elements very well, they are able to easily interpret them into the web page. So we said they improve the readability and accessibility of web pages. These elements clearly define the structure and meaning of web content. What do we mean by this? They define the structure. By defining the structure, we meant, like, for instance, now the header that we talked about, once the server is about to interpret what you have in your code, he's going to read through the code before he's able to interpret them. Now, he sees header. Header is something that even a layman knows what an header is. When we say footer, footer is something even a layman knows where it is being positioned. So all these elements, they make it very easy for the code to be easily interpreted. Now it says making it easier for search engine and developers to understand the documents. That means when even your colleagues, developers like you, they are reading through your code and they see here that okay, they understand perfectly where this particular content is meant to be positioned. When they see the nav, they understand perfectly that okay, these are the nav, these are the nav menus. This is exactly where it is being positioned. When they see article, they understand that okay, this is what this person meant. Even before doing it on your web page, they can easily interpret it while just checking your code alone. So it is very essential to know how this works. It is also very essential to know how we can, slot them in our codes, how we can use them in our code. They are very easy to use once you understand the concept. Now let's get to the importance of this semantic element. You said one, it improved readability. That means it helped developers to understand the structure of a web page more efficiently, just as I've explained now. Two, that is SEO, that is search engine. So the benefits, we say search engine prioritize content within semantic elements. Do you see that? They prioritize content within the semantic element, improving search rankings. Better accessibility. Assistive technologies such as screen readers can better interpret content. And the fourth one, we said future proofing ensures compatibility with evolving web standard and devices. Just like we know that this HTML5 is the latest presently. So, compatibility with evolving web. The more everything is changing, none of these what's it called? None of these tools, technology tools, is static. They are all improving. So while others are improving, like the way we have our own HTML5 as a front end tool, back end also they have theirs. So when the back end they are using tools that are in vogue now, you as a front end should not be using something that is that is not in vogue. So we need to also be improving the way these tools are improving. We need to keep learning more and be improving in all our tools or our technology tools we are using. So now let's go into this semantic element. We say one, header. Header defines the introductory section of the web page. That is the first thing you see. Yeah, when someone is checking your code, header, that is what the person will see and to some extent understand what your code is all about, what you are writing about. So it typically contains the site title, For instance, you are building an app. You have the name of the app you are building, whatever name you want to give it, or if it is a website, whatever name the website is. So it typically contains the site title, the logo, and the navigation menu. We'll still get to the nav. You understand what the navigation menu is. So how is it used? Let's go to VS Code now. Okay, so this was our last class, so we'll just continue with it so that everything will be on a single distance. So we say header as an element. Once you type the header, all with small letter, no capital letter, we have the opening tag and the closing tag as usual. Okay,
Yes.
so now what do we want our website to be? Is it a website? Is it an application? Whatever name we want to give it. Let's say this is my website. This is my website. Now we want to open it on the web page so that you see how. Okay. Okay. So this is my website. This is my website here. So anybody coming to your header would see that, okay, this is what this person is trying to create. Now, what do you think we are supposed to, as the header is meant to be bold, right? It is meant to be visible, not tiny like the paragraph tag, that is the P tag. So what do you think we are meant to do here to make it bold? Salam, are you there?
Yes. You said?
I don't think so. Salam, are you there?
Yes. Do you hear me?
We're having the same problem again. I can see you are speaking, but then I can't hear you. I can't hear you, and I really need to hear you. But then it's fine. Let's continue. So what we are meant to do now is, before we have this is our website, we should have our H1 tag, because remember we said the H1 tag happens to be the boldest of all the heading tags. So we'll be having this. I'll be typing, this is my website. This is my website. Can you see it? It is now bold. It is now bold. So whatever name you want to give it. So what is this telling us? This is telling us that, okay, the header, which is meant to be, at the topmost of whatever you are creating, because it is the one that is telling us what you are building, what this code is all about. So it means you can still have some other tags, element tags inside it, to better explain or to better beautify whatever you are creating. Remember the other time when we had header without including this H1 tag, it was just like a normal P element. But now that we have the H1 before typing our text, you can see it is bold. That means you can use variety of elements, varieties inside a particular element. I don't know if you are getting me. You can use any other
Yes.
inside a particular one. Now we have this is my website. We can further have a P, a paragraph that is explaining what your website is all about. This is my website. Um, what can we say? This is my website. Um, I don't know. It's it is a website. Um, I don't know what we can have here just to explain what the website is all about. This is my website. It's a website. Or let's say it's a blockchain or a Web3 site or whatsoever. To the Web3 sites for whatever we want to have. Can you see it? This comes as a test. Now we are explaining. So if you have any text to explain what a website can this is my website can be okay, maybe just as we said in our last class, maybe a meal pal application. So in our P tag, we can just have something like the meal tag, the meal plan application is an app that schedule your meal for you so that you can hit your daily blah 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 and the rest of it. You can have it in your P tag to explain what this is all about. So I don't know if you get what I am saying. This one I'm not hearing your
Yes,
voice.
I get it.
I can also say
You
you're
hear me?
speaking. Unfortunately, I can't hear your voice. So that's just the header and how we can use the header. So that's just it. I want to believe it is understood. And if not, you can drop me, you can drop me a question. Okay, that's okay. Fine. Forward. Sorry, just work. Yeah. So, so moving forward now will be moving forward. Okay. Sorry about that. So moving forward now, we're going to header. Sorry, we just tried header. So we're fitting the next one, which is the nav. So it says the nav represents a section for navigation links, often used inside the header. And what are navigation links? Let me explain in layman terms so you can easily understand this one.
Something wrong. I don't
A navigation
understand.
link
I
is
don't hear you very
you
well.
realize that anytime you visit a website, there are sections that are the most part, which you will understand to be here parts, right? So there are sections there that may have the home, yeah, just something like explaining what the site. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Oh my goodness. You can't. How about now? don't know why you can't hear me.
Do you hear me?
I can hear you, Abu Salam. Can you hear me also?
Okay, it's okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, that's good. I don't know what happened earlier. Probably it's the network.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. So the air that we talked about, was it understood?
Yes, very well.
It was understood, right? I think we're having the same problem now. I can't hear you again.
Yes, very well.
Okay. So now we'll be looking into the nav. So I was explaining something. I said it says nav represent like nav. It represents a section for navigation link. So I said, what are navigation links? To explain in the layman for you to understand properly. When you visit websites, you realize that at the topmost part, which we already explained that part to be the header, it's always have something that explains the sites that you have, which have the home, the about, contact us, and a whole lot of them, depending on the owner of the site preference, whatever they want to be there. Some will have contact us, some will also have testimonials and a whole lot of things for you to understand what they stand for, what they are all about, and this and that. All those sections, they are navigation links, they are nav bars, they are things that further explains the website. Okay, so now let's have it. And as I explained something earlier, that because this is an header and it is a semantic element, doesn't mean another semantic element cannot be housed inside it. So this is what I'm saying. This nav bar now is also part of the element that is always at the header section. That means we can have our header, our nav inside this our header. Now we have the navigation elements denoted with nav. It's created the opening tag and the closing tag. So what do we want to have? This is how it is being used. It can be used in different um okay, we have a section here. Now it depends on how you want to use it. This is what is being suggested here now, which we have under the nav here. This A, remember we treated this A in our
Yes.
last class.
Yes.
What do we say the A stands for? Do you still remember?
Not really.
Okay, it is called the anchor. This is an
Yes,
anchor tag.
yeah, Uncle.
Yeah.
It's where I
The
put
A
my
is
LinkedIn link.
exactly. Now you get it. So this is an anchor tag. And we know anchor tag, and when it is being generated along with this href, right? So the first way we can create this nav bar is to have our anchor tags, with these. Let's see how it is being generated on our oh my goodness, what's this? Okay. So can you see how we have it here?
Yes.
Let me go in
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
Fine. So this is what, or do you want us to open a separate web page for it so that you can be seeing them boldly? Maybe we should open a separate.
Okay, we can.
I'll just comment this part out so that you can be seeing them boldly and this one will not contact them. Okay, so this is what I'll do. Okay, so I've connected this out now. Where we are done, I'll stop the comments. So this is what we have here. So this is the home. So we've been, we've set this up. Now, when you click on the home, it will take you to the home page where we have whatever we must have coded inside it. When we click on the about page, it will take us to the about page where we have whatever we must have written coded inside it. The same thing for the services, contact us. If we have the portfolio, we have some other ones. Okay, so this is one here now. Now let's go to the other one. The other one which I have in my so the other one which I have here is this part here. Now let's use this part. Remember the UL is what? This remember what the UL is. Slide.
I can hear you very well. The connection is very bad.
Are you there? Salam. Okay, I think the network. So I'm moving forward now. I don't know if it's in this. So remember, we said, did you help? It's called the on other list. On other list. Oh my goodness. Can't see anything. I don't know. Why are having this with them? I also can't see anything. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
No, same problem.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? This network is not doing as well at all.
Can you
Can
hear
you hear me
me?
now?
The connection is very bad. I can hear you very, very well. It's kind of like cutting a speech.
I can hear you. I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, now
I
it's
can
okay.
hear you. Okay. I think it's the network. The network is very, very bad.
Yes.
Okay. So I was saying something about this other part here, this first one. I said this is one way in which you can have your nav, your navigations, your nav links. So I said this is the other part. We have the UL. Okay. After opening the nav bar, we have the UL. So I was now asking, do you remember what the UL is?
Yeah, on other. Oh,
on ordered list. That's very good, which is part of when you want to list
Yes.
something. So now it is assumed that we want to list all this our nav. We want to list them because in actual sense, in our what's it called, the web page, you will see it was listed, right? It was listed side by side. You have the one, this one, the other one, the home, the about. It was listed. So that is why we have on ordered list, and it wasn't numbered. Navigation links are not numbered. Okay, that is why what is used is on ordered list. So fine, let's see how this looks here. Let's comment this out. Okay, so now we have this. Now let's see how it is on the web page. Can you see how it is on the web page?
Yes. I see.
Can you still hear me
Yeah, I
outside?
hear you.
Oh my god, this our network is really really bad. Please drop me a message if you can hear me so that I can continue. Okay, fine, you can hear me. So this is how the one for what's it called? The one we use the UL, the listing looks like. Remember, we use the UL, which is on ordered list. I remember on ordered list is being presented with a bulletin. We can further style this to remove the bulletin or change the bulletin. But remember, we said the nav bar, they are not numbered. Either is any bulletin needed for the nav. So how do we go about it? Because we don't need this bulletin here. That is when we'll use the CSS. That's the styling to remove this part and to style them the way to position them how we want it to look. So these are the two types we can use to to write our nav. To write our nav, you can use this first one. This first one now doesn't need. Let me see if we can be seeing the two together. Okay. I want to comment this out. Okay. So I've commented that out for us to see. So you see the two types that we have. The first one, which is just the anchor tag used. This is how it is being presented.
Okay.
It is CSS we are going to use to further style this anchor tag also to remove all these underlines.
Yes.
Okay, and it is CSS we will further use to remove all these bulletin and the underlines to make it stand as a word on its own, just like we have this standing is my website and all standing. Okay, so just to explain how the navbar is being used and what we meant by navbar. So I did been we've written the code for home, about.html, contact.html. We have some text or some code already written inside it. Once we click on it, it will take us to whatever we have. So that's the nav. Now moving forward, is that understood? Please, you can drop a message because I still can't hear you. So moving forward now, we'll be going to section. Please, can you hear me? Section defines, okay, fine, understood. So we say section defines a thematic grouping of content, usually with a heading. Okay, usually with a heading. What is this saying? Now, let me use also to explain what we already have here on our web page. Let me use it to explain this section before moving forward. What is this section? Just like section as a layman, that is what section here is also explaining. Remember, we said we have the home, we have the about, we have the contact. Now, we can have all this content on a single page. Do you get me? We can have them on a single page. How do we have them on a single page? That is when section comes in. That is when what comes in section. So we can have section. Now we are done with header. Section is not part of what is at the topmost. Section is your body, the body of the message of your what's it called, your website, what you're having inside it. So we'll go to the next page and have our section. We have section as section element also. So it's sorry. Section. Okay. So we have this. We have the opening tag and the closing tag as usual. Now we have section. We can have, you see, fine. Home is what is being suggested now. Now, in our first section here, we can have for home. Remember, we have home as part of our nav links here, the nav bars. So we have home. This is a section. We can, inside this home, we can have a whole lot of things. We already have the H2. Now we have the text. Let's reload a bit to understand what this is. You see, this is home. So, and it means we have linked them together now. Once we click on the home, it will move down to this what's it called, this section here, telling us, okay, this is home. We already have the heading to the home. Welcome to our website. We can further have different things. We can further have image, video, audio, whatsoever. Let's say we have the what's it called, the audio. We can further have audio. I think I already, oh sorry, I already have, so okay, audio record. It is loading. I'll be using control so that it won't just be playing. We are the one that we are the one that will tell it to play. You see, we have audio here. So remember the audio that we explained earlier, that we have controls. We also have
Yes.
different ones, other ones. We have mutes and a whole lot of them. So this control is the one that will help us,
So can you see my screen?
Okay, so I'm playing something. That is the audio, because we use control, so we can play it, we can pause it, we can give it volume or whatsoever. So this is our home. Let's say, for instance, this audio now is what is explaining this about this home, rather, this home section. So we can have different words. We can even have image also. We can have image in our home, you know. We can have different one in our home. Whatever we have, just explaining that, okay, this is a section on its own, like that. I want it to generate it. So let's say we have image also. We already have one image in our assets, so we can just use that one. Okay, so we have image. We have image here. Can you see it? Let's give our image height and width. This is styling actually, but because I don't want the image to just occupy everything. So I'll be giving the image this, and I'll also be giving it an height. We'll explain this height and whatsoever that I'm doing when we get to CSS. So don't get Don't get confused, okay? So you see
Yes.
these are what we have.
Yeah.
Fine. These are what we have in our home section. So we can now have another section. We can have another section. Okay, this is the closing tag of this section. Now I want to open another section now. I want to open another section. Now this section will now be for about. Can you see it? This section is for about. Just on a single page, we are having this, right? Can you see? So I think we have linked all these things together now. Once we click on about, okay, fine. It's already linked it for us. So once we click on about, can you see? Can you see what happened just now?
Yes, I see.
It's moved
Yes.
down the about page. It's moved down to the about page. It's moved down. Can you see it? Fine. So we can have any other thing we want to have. We can have images here too. We can have table. We can have anything. So do you understand? It's because we used section. So it already the server already understand. Remember what we said about semantic elements, that it is easily readable by the server, by the browser. So it already understand that okay, this is section, this person used section in her code. So definitely it already understand how it should be positioned on the web page. Hence the reason we are having it. Can you see how easy and seamless we are having this? Instead of you writing a whole lot of code, doing this, writing that, see how easy this this semantic element made it look. So that is that about section. The same thing if we have the about or so whatsoever. That is just exactly how it was. You can have another section now. You can see it is on a single page. It is on a single page. And so now we can have for services. We don't even have services in our what is it called? So this is another section now. This is another section that we are having here. So you can have as many sections as you want. You can have as many sections as you want. So moving forward now, I believe you understand what the section is all about now. So moving forward now, we'll be going into okay, article. Just like what article is in a layman. That is what article is here now. When you have an article you want to slot in your website, you have an article. Now it says article, they are used for self-contained content such as blog posts, news articles, or user comments and the likes of them. Just like the normal article, what an article is. Yes, if you want to have an article in your website, in your blog, or whatsoever it is, how do you slot it in? This is quite different from you having just a p tag, just a paragraph, or you having just an h, sorry, or you having just an h whatsoever. So that is why you first have article as an element. You telling the server, you telling the browser that okay, even if you have a paragraph or you have an H2 tag element or whatsoever you're having, this is an article. So we first have our article elements. When you now have the article element, then you can have whatsoever you want to have inside it. Okay, we have the H2. Let's have the H2. You can have the H2 to be okay. How to improve web performance? Yeah, how to improve web performance. That's the H2. and we have some other paragraphs too. We can have some headings and whatsoever. But now let's see how this is being interpreted on our web page. Can you see it? How to improve performance. This
Yes.
is just because we are having, you know, one thing is you feel like, okay, this is just like the normal H2, and this is just like the normal P paragraph. Why can't we just use the H2 and the normal P tag? Because this is what it is given. Yes, you are seeing it. This is what it is given. But what the browser, what the server is interpreting is different from what you feel you are seeing. And these are one of the things that makes more for your website and whatsoever to run fast. You realize that there are some websites, there are some developers that when they are done with their whatsoever and they host it, the performance might not be well optimized. These are reasons that might make your whatsoever not to be well optimized. But when you use the appropriate modules for the appropriate elements, the appropriate tag, it will make your code to be, well optimized. It will make it run very well. That yes, there won't really be bugs on it. There won't really be bugs on it. So know what you are coding. Know what section you are coding. Know what elements you are coding. And make sure you write it in your coding. Make it easy. And whoever is visiting it, so we know that yes, this person knows what is doing. There's a difference between you as a developer that have your article written in this way and another developer that have an article written just this with this H2. Another developer that have a whole his or her whole written this way. We'll both view it on the web page and be like, it's the same thing. Of course, it's the same now. But anybody reading your code and sees this article, like you have, explained, it further explains your code. And anyone that sees this one will know that no, this one is just, I don't know, these are part of the things we check in our code. Especially when you go for an interview and they give you a small something to build. These are things they check. These are things they check. How much you are familiar with, new technological tools. How much you are familiar, how much more you are learning. Most of us we do this that we don't stop learning, we keep learning, just to entice somebody, the person that is employing us. But how much more do we use these tools? How much more do we learn these tools and use them? So it is very, very important. We keep learning. You don't finish learning through a tutor or a code. You keep learning, you keep, sourcing for more information about whatever you are learning. So this one, anybody that sees this in your code now will know that no, that's why they won't just request for the web page. I think they will request for only this web page now. Of course, almost all of us will be working with Google, but you have something beautiful on your web page, you design it, you style it, give it color. But no, they will request for the code also to see what you have in your code. Do you have them well section? Do you have them well, positioned and how? They will check your code too. So it is important to know all these semantic elements and how they work. So we'll be having this house. This is not professional. We're having them out. So that is article for you. If you have anything, article, anybody that wants you to create the website for them will have every details they want to use. Okay? You have the color they want to use. You won't be the one racking your brain. They will give you the color. Okay? They must the designer, that's the UI UX designer, must have designed the Figma design for you to use to write your own code. So you won't rack your brain for anything. For all these tests that we have now, this or this whatsoever, they will have the font they want to use. Maybe it is just medium size, it is large size, it is whatsoever. They will have it. You're just rewriting your code and putting it. That's all. They will have the images they want to use. They will have the text they want to use. So all you have to do is put your own what's element article, copy their text and put it here. That's all. So you don't have to be racking your brain for anything. What we as a developer just need to know is how to use all these elements, all these tags, how to use them appropriately. Okay. So moving forward now, once we believe you understand what this article is and how it is being used. I don't know if you're listening, but if it's not working, you can just drop me a message before I move forward. So I want to believe you understand them. How to do this? Okay, fine. I can see your message. So moving forward now, we'll be having aside. What is aside? Just as the name implies, aside, something at the side, something at the side, either the left side or the right side. That is the side. So we have aside. It represents sidebar content. What do we understand by sidebar content? The sidebar content is usually at the side. There are content that are usually at the side. You can have them at the right side. You can have them at the left side. So we say such as advertisements, related links, or additional information. You realize there are some websites that at the side like this, we have some icons for their social media handles, most especially WhatsApp. You have it at this sidebar here. It might be blinking. It might be whatsoever. Those are sidebars. Call them sidebars. Just as we have nav bars. Nav bars are usually at the header. It's at the topmost. Remember, we have nav bars. All this about that we have, they are nav bars. Now we are talking about a side, which are called the sidebars. Okay, sidebars. So now, how do we have our sidebar? Just as we said, just have your elements, their side. You have their side. So whatever you now want to have inside is aside. The browser, the server already understand that, okay, you don't need to start styling. The thing is, even if you don't have this aside now, you want to remove this aside and have whatever you want to have there. Maybe you didn't put aside, you just have all this listed here. Copy. Paste. So let's say we just have this here. Let's go to our web page. If we have all these here now, you see, this is how it is. It is not at the side. But how can we make it move to the side so that it will also appear as a sidebar? That is when CSS styling comes in. Okay, that is when CSS styling comes in. We can style these two anchor tags now to go to the side using our CSS to style this, the margin, the whatever. It's going to move to the side. And anybody that is reviewing the web page will see it and be like, okay, this is the side, but because it is at the side, we have styled it to move to the side. And no issue. It is when the person now requests for your code that the person will now know that, oh, no, this person is writing code like that for the olden days, because yes, that's writing code as part of the olden days. All these semantic elements, they make life easy for you while writing your code. You don't have to overstress yourself with adding a lot of styling, this and that, just to move something to the side, when you can easily use your aside elements. Do you understand? So anybody viewing your web page can see it and say, okay, this is beautiful. Even you can be like, okay, I easily get this thing. Okay, this is what I would like to do. But did you use the correct elements in your code, the correct stats in your code? So that's when this aside comes in. God, so now let's use our side. It is loading. So that is when this aside comes in. Can you see it? That is when this aside comes in.
Yes, I see.
So anybody checking your code, reading through your code, we easily see and be like, okay, okay, this is what this person is trying to explain. So moving forward, we have the footer, just as the name implies. Footer, foot, something at the bottom level, something at the bottom level, and the footer is usually the last part on a web page. Either you have another page for the home, another page for the about. In this our own listing now, we don't have another page for home, another page for service. They are on the single page. But suppose we have another page for about. Maybe when you click the about now, it will take you to another page. When you click on services now, it will take you to another page instead of this now. Whatever is at the footer, sorry, whatever you have at the bottom is usually the footer. You can't have the nav at the footer at the bottom level. No, the footer is usually the last part, the final part on the web, on what's it called, on a web page. Okay, the footer is usually the last part on a web page. So, and the footer is where we have, for some websites, they have their, what's it called, their social media handles, they have their copyrights. It depends. They have a whole lot of things. So, beside the footer defines the footer section of the web page or a section. Usually contain the copyright, contact info. Those are their social media handles, how you can contact them, maybe their email, their WhatsApp, their Twitter, their LinkedIn, and a whole lot of them. How you can contact them. Always that. And navigation links from the footer. Also, you can check what's it called. You can click on it and go to any of the pages. So those are things that are usually on the footer. Now, how do we use this footer in our code? How do we write this? That's when footer element comes in. We use footer. And we also have the opening tag and closing tag, just as same. So you can have whatever you want to have here. This is the copyright. How to write the copyright. This is essential. You know how to write this copyright. Just as we always do when we are in school, we cram it. Cram that up. As time goes on, you will know how to write even without checking. But I remember when I first started, anytime I want to have this copyright thing, I always check my notes. Because you don't just write the way it is written. Let me show you on the web page. You see, so most times if I even get to know this is how this C, this C, how was it written? Where will I see it? I checked through my keyboard and everything. So later I got to know, okay, this is how it is writing, and copy. It's this. You see it says this character entity represents the C in circle. Okay, Unicode equivalent to whatsoever. So this is how it is written. So then you can have your whatsoever 2025, my website, all right reserved, just anything the way you want your copyright to be written. Okay, you have 2025, the name of your website, whatsoever. So these are things that are at the footer. Nothing is meant to be after this now in your code. The footer is usually the final thing on the website, the last thing on the website page. So, and you can also have your social media handles. How do you have your social media handles? That's where the anchor tags come in. Just as you have the way you submitted when you submitted your assignment. I realized you have your LinkedIn. What's it called? Your LinkedIn social media handle inside it, just exactly the way you did it. That is exactly how you're doing the social media handles in the footer. You anchor tag with your the URL of their social media handles. You have it here. It is WhatsApp, whatever it is. You have it here. Okay, so that's that about the footer. So, any question about the footer?
No, understood. No question.
Fine.
You hear me?
Now, this. Now, yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
So this part now is to understand that I am inside the footer. You see, that is why it is very important to know how this semantic elements works. Look at this part now. It understand that I am inside the footer. Now, see the suggestion it has for me. It already saw that I have my copyright already written. Now, it is suggesting me to include my LinkedIn URL. Let's say I accepted this now. That's how it will go to the next page. I did mean I let me just press the whatsoever. This is LinkedIn. So even in your code, when you download some of these extensions, look at now, it suggested a whole lot of, you can see it's the one that suggested this for me because of the semantic element I used there, footer. So it my code even understand it that this person is here. These are what this person need in this section. It's also suggested Instagram for me, even though it doesn't know my Instagram username. He's using my complete name. This is on my Instagram URL. So I'll just go to my Instagram to copy it. See what is suggested again, my GitHub. So that is one important. In fact, even writing your code, instead of you typing all these things now, see, it's already suggested it for me. What I just need to do is go to the pages, copy the URL, paste them here. Fast, fast, you are done. Like somebody that did not use all these semantic elements, now the person will type tire. So it is very, you can see, it already suggested a whole lot of this thing for me. When I reload this now, you can see it has my LinkedIn, Instagram, GitHub, Twitter, and when I click on it to take me to the pages. Okay.
Yes.
One thing is just that in most cases, in fact, in all cases that I've seen, instead of having LinkedIn, Instagram, GitHub here, what we usually use are their icons. Okay, the LinkedIn icon, the Instagram icon, the GitHub icon, and Twitter icon. Gone are those days they write them like this. In this present time, it is icons that is usually used. So how do we use icon? That is when the img comes in. Okay,
Yeah.
image.
Yeah.
Just the way we use image here. But then we are not rushing, we'll get to that. So just explaining what this footer here. Now we have an error here. You can see there is an error here underlined. Let's check what the error is. Have I deleted? Okay, I've deleted something here. That is why there is error here. So the error will be gone now. The error is gone. So when you have an error, remember I said the next, for instance, I have an error before this closing tag of the footer. That is why this footer, which is the next text here, will be having an underline. It will have an
Okay.
underline. And let me type something here. I type an N. Or let me remove the closing tag of this next one. Now I remove this closing tag. You can see the footer, which is the next one here, will be having a
Yeah, I
red
see.
underline. That's because there is an error in my code. There is an error
Okay.
in my code. Okay, so I will need to go back and fix my error. That is the forward that I removed. So you can see the other line is not there. So that is how you fix your error while you writing with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So now moving forward, is there any question on this footer or
No, no question.
before we go to the next element, which is the main? Is there any question?
No, no question.
Fortunately, I can't say. You can drop me a message. I'll be waiting for your message. So, okay, no question. That's beautiful. So now we have the next one, which is main. Main. It says main contains the primary content of the web page, excluding headers, sidebars, and footers. What is this saying? What does this means? It says excluding header, which you already understand to be where you know the header also anchors what's it called, the logo, because once you visit the website, the header is something that introduces you to the web page. So you have their logo also at the header. You have the nav links, the nav bars at the header also. So it says the main contains the primary content of the web page, excluding header. Sidebar also, remember, the aside is not part of the main. Those ones are the side. This aside there is not part of the main. And also the footer is not part of the main. So what are the ones that are now part of the main? That's where we have the content inside this section now. They are main. They are what is further, they further explains. They further explains. That's what main is. Whatever further explains it, they are main. This article also is part of main. Okay, it is part of main. If we have images, they are the one that are part of. We usually have the hero section too. The hero section is usually immediately after your header, because it is the one that also further explains. It won't really explain deep. We call it hero section because it will shed light to what you are about to dive into. Now we are talking about main now. All these contents inside our home, they are main. All these about the services, all these contents now, they are main. All these article, our article now, they are main. But anything aside, those are sidebars. They are not part of main. They are just like advertisements, something you chip in. They are not part of the main something. Okay. Remember we said the aside bar. That is where we have, like your social links, like advertisements, stuff like that. Something that is just at their side. Anybody checking it, you don't need to really concentrate so much on it. They are just something, maybe they're advertising something just to something catchy, something like that. Okay. But the main is something that is explaining deeply what that website is. They are explained deeply. If we have something in our about now, we are going to have everything about our company. Let's say the website is for a company. We have everything that explains what the company is, when the company started, teams under the company, and a whole lot of things like that. So they are main. Home also, you have everything, services, the services you rendered, portfolio, they are main things on the website. So those are main. Okay, those
Yes.
are main. And note that they are not part of the headers, sidebar, and footer are not part of the main. So just as we have welcome to our website, blah 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 blah. You see, just as we have this one here, all these ones here, they are main. They are main. So moving forward, we have the figure and fig caption. This figure and fig caption. Remember, we already have images introduced here now. But when we use the figure element, let's have it after. Let's have it here. The figure element is an element that is used when you want to have images on your website. When you want to have images on your website. Now it's already generated something for us. Why did it generate? Because I already have my figure element. So this figure element already sends a message to it that okay, this is what this person is trying to have here. So see what it generated for. Instead of me to start typing img source this and that, you see, it even generated the figure caption because the figure what's it called? The figure element comes in line with figure caption. What is figure caption? That is when you have what the image you have there is meant for, the image caption. Just like in our textbooks back then in secondary school, that you have figure and under it you have what the images is on. Or even when we are in an institution, some of our textbooks and our lecturers, they will have an image, and under it they will have captions under it for us to understand what that image is. Just a small caption, not a big, a lot of text. Okay, so that is figure caption. So here now we are having image. So just as like we use our image, that is exactly how we are using this one here also. But the figure element is just telling the browser that okay, this is what the person have here, not just you importing an image here. So all these elements, they are just something to know. Once you know them, you know how they work because it is just as their name implies. It's just exactly as their name implies. Now see, you see it, image caption. What can we use for our caption? Let's have this as my image. Let's see this. This is my image. This is my image. Now let's check something out. Let's do something. I want us to do something that you will see the difference between using image and not using. So I want you to show you this up. Okay, you see this. So we'll change this to a p tag. Okay, remember this is just like a p tag. So we want to change this to a p tag and see how it's going to display here. Can you see the difference now?
Yeah, that's
Do you
it.
sight any difference here now? This is the one.
Yeah,
Fine. This is the one we use the figure elements to create, and this is the one we use the normal img and the normal p tag attached to it as a caption. Now look at this. Anybody that sees this one, you will we clearly see, oh, this is a caption for this image. But in this part, we will need to use our css to further style it, to move, or to further style it to be well positioned and all. That is why all these elements, as you have said, they make it very easy, very seamless for you. They make life easy. So instead of you using CSS to style it, to position it, to do this, to do that, I'm done using my figure element. Somebody that uses this just img and p tag now will still be on his or her own using CSS to further style what me I'm done. I'm going to the next one to create. So that's another reason why it is very essential we use all these semantic elements in our coding. So our own code. So moving on, we'll be going to the next one, which is mark. Mark. Now this mark is just like, in some other ways you can have a text, maybe having this is my website. This is my website, and that website will now have like a small like that website itself. Let me go to the web page and explain what I'm saying before. Or let's say this one, how to improve web performance. How to improve web performance. We can now decide to have this improve to have, let's say, a red background. A red background. Instead of we using CSS to now style it, maybe if we want to style this now with CSS, that means we will come here. This is where we have it, improve. We'll now give this one, may put this one inside a span so that we can style that span on its own and give that span a background of red, blah blah. So instead of going through all those threads, you can just use mark. Now let's make it easier. Enough of talking, let's do it. The mark is denoted with, let's say we have a p tag already. I have a p tag. Hope we are not rushing. Absalam. Hope I'm
Yeah?
not rushing too much.
Yeah?
I said, hope
No,
I'm
it's
not
good.
rushing. Hope all this. Okay, okay, fine. So this mark now, we have a P tag already. Okay, and this is the P tag. Let's copy this P tag out. I already have it. Copy. Okay. So let's have this P tag again instead of typing it. Now, see what we have here now. We have a P tag. Inside the P tag, this is what we have. HTML introduces the semantic elements for better structure. Okay, HTML introduces semantic. This is what we have in it is P tag. Now we want semantic elements to be different from other, to appear differently from others, so that you will see that okay, semantic semantic elements we are talking about. In some cases, just like we can have this semantic element written in capital letter, so that it will be different, it will be bold. Anybody coming to it, you will see that okay, this one is quite different from the other text. So in this case, we are using mark. Now let's view it on our web page. I can really understand. Now see what I'm saying. This is it here. This is the normal text. HTML5 introduces the semantic elements for better structure. Now we
Okay.
further style these semantic elements using mark.
Okay.
I didn't know we did not use mark at all. This mark element here, we did not use it. That we just type it like this. Let me just. Now I have removed the mark there. Okay, I've removed the mark here now. Can you see it? I've
Yes.
removed mark. But
Yes.
now, after I remove mark, you can see how the text is. HTML5 introduces the semantic element for better structure, just like every other. Now, if we now want to further, if we want to still have that same effect, the way we have this semantic element have a yellow background, we'll go to CSS. And before we go to CSS, we must have given this one another tag. Maybe we'll just use a span instead. We'll use a span instead. Let me cut this. So we can use something we call span. When we use it, you can see when we use a span, we'll now have the text inside it. This one will not have any effect until we go ahead to CSS. We are giving this one span because we will be styling it separately. You know, in this case now, we are not styling all the p tags. Remember, this semantic element is also inside the p tag. This span is also inside this p tag. Abi?
Okay.
And we are not styling all these p tags to have that yellow background. It is not everything inside it that is having the yellow background. It is only this semantic element that is having this yellow background. So that is why we are giving only these semantic elements, what we call span. Okay, the span doesn't mean
Yes.
anything on its own. Do you see what this span means? It is explaining to you that the span element doesn't mean anything on its own, just like every other one means something. The p, it means paragraph on its own. The h, it means heading on its own. And we have a whole lot of them that means something on its own. The img, we know it is image on its own. The video, the audio, the article, everything, they mean something. But this span, it doesn't mean anything on its own. That is why when you want to further style something inside a tag a tag that means something, you can use span. Okay, you can
Yes.
use span. So we will now go to CSS and style our span. We must have given this span maybe an ID, because we can have as many span inside one. What's it called? We can have a span here also. If, for instance, I want this web performance to have another styling, we can put it inside span. Okay, so we can have plenty
Yes.
span, but for the styling to now know that this styling is for this particular span, that is when ID or class comes in. I'm not supposed to be touching this now. It is when we get to CSS so that it will not mix up. But I'm just trying to briefly explain this part, okay? So instead of now going through all this stress, using span to do these, going to CSS to now style the ID, maybe we give this ID semantic. You can give it any name. So you now go to CSS to style this semantic. So whatever style you give this semantic, you can now give it a background of yellow, background of whatever you want to give it. It will now take effect. And when you view it on the web page, the background will be there. So instead of going all through that stress, I beg, just remove it and use your what's it called? The mark. You don't need to style anything. The only styling you will be needing here is if the color semantic semantic elements. So the only reason you'll be styling this mark is if you don't want the yellow background, if you want another background. Maybe you want this particular semantic element to have a different color. You can see everything is black. You can decide to use a
Yes.
white color for this semantic element and a black background. Okay, that is when you now go to CSS. But at least it is with just using mark, it will give you the desired style you want to use. So the only reason you will be going to CSS to style this is if the background color of whatever mark you are using is not what you want. That is when you can now go to CSS to give it another color. So that is mark. That is mark. Now, do you understand what this mark is? So instead of
Yeah,
using the
very
span,
well.
that of course span will just be there, it has no effect until you go to style it. This mark is already doing something. So, any question before we go to the last one here? I think yes, this is the last one here, which is time.
No, no question. You can go ahead.
I can't hear you, but you can drop me a message. I can't hear you, but you can drop me a message. So we'll be moving to time. Time. That okay, no question. Can go ahead. All right, thank you. Going forward, now, we'll be treating time, which is the last one on our semantic element. After immediately typing the time, it's generated date time. Okay, date time. This is how the time element is being generated. It's opening tag and closing tag as usual. So move this down. Okay. Let's take this one that is being generated. So this is how the time is generated. This is how the time is generated. You just have you just input the what's it called, the element time, and inside this date time you have your time, whatever you want to have there. In this manner, you can see in this manner we are not typing January whatsoever here. We are having the dates in number 2022 01 15, and between the opening tags and closing tag you can now have it written in bold. Now, what is the difference between writing your time in this way and using just the B tag? Let's view coding. You can see January 15, 2022. You know we can write it using the normal P tag. Let's write it with the normal P tag and see. You can have it using the normal P tag and just have January 15, 2022. Oh, the system is running low. Oh my goodness, the system is slow. So can you see it? This is the P tag here. Can you see we
Yes,
have
I
the
see.
same thing?
Yes.
I can't tell you. But we have the same thing. What I'm trying to explain for you is using the time element and this P tag now. The time element that we use, this is it here. The P tag that we use, this is it here. The web page is giving us the same answer, right? So if anybody is checking your web page and you are using a P tag for this date time, the person will be like, okay, wow, nice, this is good. It is when they now check your code that they will now say, no, 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 this is not professional. Okay, this is not it is not even professional at all using P tag for data when we have the time elements already that can make it easier for you. So anybody checking somebody that writes the date time like this and this one will know that no, this one knows what is doing, this one is in vogue. While this one, no, 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 is learning, still continues. Okay, so it's not about having your desired result on the web page. It is about even your code, how clean your code is, how vivid your code is, how explanatory your code is also very, very important and essential. Okay, so I don't know if you have any question on this semantic. Is there any question on this semantic element at all? I want to believe
No,
there
there
is
is no
no
question.
question, right? So if you don't have any question, my system will soon go off because I have 7% left. 7%. So I think we'll be calling it a day. And in our next class, we'll be starting with CSS, God's willing. I don't know if Monday will be Salah. We might not be having class. But then we'll be communicating. I'll tell Mr. Raphael to communicate with you if there will be class or not. Or
Okay.
not, yes. So if there is any
Can you hear
question
me?
so far, please you can drop it.
Can you hear me?
There is no question. That's awesome. Now there is an assignment. Yes. The assignment, let me check. Let me check if we still have it before the system goes down. The assignment will be module 2. I think it was the third on module 2. I said you should not do it since you've not touched the semantic element. So let me just read it and see if we touched that part. I pray my system don't go off now. Oh my goodness. Structure your web page using it. Okay, yes. You should be able to do this now. So it says structure a web page using HTML5 semantic elements.
Okay.
Using HTML5 semantic elements. So in this aspect, now what I want you to do is I will like you, well, no, just do whatever you want to do. Don't let me give you anything to do. Just use them as you want. Play around them. Use them. But make sure you import an image. Yes, I want you to import an, even if it is only an image. You can import image, video, audio. Yes, you can import all those ones. But at least import one. If you don't want to import the three. If you import the three, it's very fine. But I really love it. But if you don't want to import the three, at least an image. Import it in your semantic, in your assignments. Okay, so just play around them anyhow you want to play around them. Just structure your web using the HTML5 semantic elements. Okay, so is that understood? Is the assignment understood? Please drop me a message before I stop recording, before my system goes off. What do I have? I have 6% left. Okay, understood. Fine. So I think that's all for now. So how was today's class? Hope you understand clearly, or do you have any challenges? Oh,